Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show. God, it is so good to see you. I was just looking at my calendar and saw that it's my favorite night of the week. I love Wednesdays because I get to spend and share it with you. I am Lou Mangello. If you're watching live, thank you for being here. You know you are my friend, whether we have met yet or not. If so, sit back, relax, grab a snack, tag and invite a friend. And if you're watching on the replay, please make sure and join us every Wednesday night right here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern at WDWRadioLive.com. I mean it when I said that it is my favorite night of the week. It is so good to see you for so many different reasons. I look forward to Wednesday nights for a lot of reasons. And I don't know why. There's something of this week that's getting me excited again about everything that's happening with Disney World. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about in the news this week. Speaking of giving thanks to you, I also want to quickly thank some of the new members of our WDW Radio Nation family, including Andrew Milan, Marissa Santorelli, Susie Marchetti, Jordan Lively, Ian Chidley, and Karen St. Pierre. I sometimes feel like I don't say thank you enough to all of you for being here, for being part of the family, for being part of the clubhouse and making it such a warm, wonderful place, and especially to all of you who are part of the Nation family who do so much to not only show and share your friendship and support, but do a lot really to help WDW Radio. So if you want to find out how to be part of the Nation family, you can go to WDWRadioNation.com. Obviously, completely optional, starts at as little as $1 a month, and a portion of the contribution does go to our Dream Team project to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America. And I know that that those families and those kids are as much looking forward, if not more, to getting back to Walt Disney World as we are. And just sort of quickly touching on this week's news, this should come as no shocker to you. We've all known and or spent hours on the Disney Parks website because park reservations opened on Monday for resort guests. They open up on Friday for annual pass holders, and on Sunday for current ticket holders. You can start making reservations now through near the end of September, on September 26th, 2021. That was some of the announcements that we got over the past week. Obviously, we know that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Typhoon Lagoon, H2O Glow Nights are going to be canceled. It makes total sense. But we're getting a taste of the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival starting on Epcot's opening day on July 15th. I cannot wait, not just to get back to the parks, but they had me at Food and Wine Festival. There's going to be 20 marketplaces, new topiaries, scavenger hunts, no concerts. But I think the use of the term taste of the Epcot Festival means it might not be exactly the same way, but it's going to be enough truly to literally and figuratively satiate our appetites for not just getting back to the parks, but really one of the signature festivals of Epcot Center. And I think it's going to help usher in a sense of normalcy. I think that's what's been going on. I was back in Disney Springs earlier today for a lunch meeting. I'm so ecstatic that I'm starting to have lunch meetings back at Disney restaurants once again. And I've really, over the past few weeks of being back in Springs, have started to get that feeling of normalcy. And yes, the normal now is wearing masks, social distancing, hand washing, a lot of those things that obviously we know are being put into place effectively in Disney Springs and certainly now with the resort hotels and some of the restaurants opening. But that feeling is only continuing to grow that I had on June 11th when Disney Springs first opened, about that feeling of going back to Disney World. And as I'm starting to see guests at resorts, at restaurants, and even today was a more crowded day at Disney Springs, I think, than I've seen since. Still not a lot of people there. I thought about tonight. I didn't want to go too deep into a lot of what's been out there and what we read already or experienced. If you spent time, on virtual hold as you've been in the queue trying to make your reservations. As I walked around by myself for a little while today at Disney Springs and thought about what the next few days, what the next few weeks, both in Disney World and what we see happening sort of outside of the bubble. The only thing that I can say and I think contribute and add is please be patient. I saw and I understand the frustration of having to wait in a queue, getting bumped out, not being able to get what you want, things being confusing. These are confusing times for everyone. This is something that when we talk about being unprecedented, not just for us as guests, but I really try and put myself in the shoes and the mindset of the cast members and the executives and the technical people that are frantically trying to get brand new websites and backends and reservation systems up and running, and having to worry about spinning so many plates in the air with so many different contingencies and new policies and everything that's going on. And even as we start to go and revisit the resorts, revisit the restaurants, and get back into the parks again, I only can implore you to exercise as much patience and understanding as possible. We know that they are doing the best that they possibly can, the same way we are all doing the best that we can. And sometimes I think between being cooped up in our houses for so long, or being furloughed, or just being frustrated, that it presents itself sometimes as anger, and it's tough to see sometimes, because it's nobody's fault, right? Again, everybody's trying to do their best. I've watched as a guest in restaurants and seeing how staff have been sort of working to address things that they've just never done before. And I think that's sort of what we have to think about as we go forward. So not just in Disney World, but anywhere you go in the world, like, be patient, be kind, be understanding of what's happening. And things may not be perfect day one, right? I don't expect them to be. I do expect Disney to exceed my expectations as they consistently do, but I also know that I'm going to go in with a huge degree of patience and understanding and zero expectations. If I'm able to walk into gates of Magic Kingdom on July 11th, that's all I need. right? If I'm able to get my annual pass holder reservation on Friday, that's going to be a good day. I don't really care about how many attractions, how many days, whatever it is I'm able to do. I just want to be able to step foot back into that park again, see friends from a distance with masks on, see cast members, hear that background music, and remove my mask to partake in some of the tasty treats in Magic Kingdom. So yeah, so quick, just a quick request in terms of bringing your patience for everybody that is going through this and dealing with, all the ramifications of COVID that are still continuing to change on a daily basis. So there you go. But yeah, so I'm hoping for Magic Kingdom. Huge fingers crossed for Lou on Friday that he gets back into Magic Kingdom on July 11th, or who knows if they do, anything else even earlier. But I can't wait to go back. I've heard from a few people already that are in resorts. I ran into somebody today who is staying at one of the Disney resorts, dined at one of the restaurants, had nothing but high praise for not just, again, that Disney level of service, the messaging that Disney is able to convey to guests, to answer questions before sometimes you even have the questions asked, and then even the dining experiences in terms of the physical distancing, but still being able to have that Disney level of service, and yeah, maybe even a character meal here and there. Characters from a distance, but they're there. So yeah, so just again, super excited to be back and looking forward to getting back in. And if anybody was able to get reservations yesterday, I'd love to hear about your experience, what it was like. I know the morning the site was up and down. There was a lot of waiting, and then supposedly later on in the day and over the last couple of days, it's gotten a lot easier to go in and get your reservations. And then again, I think we'll see another wave starting on this Friday. But I do, with my really bad eyesight, see a lot of familiar and some new faces coming in. So I want to thank you. Welcome to all of you who are here. Becky Menken from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Always good to see you. Again, I think now as we are starting to get ready to get back into the parks, please make sure you reach out to Becky and her team if you have any questions, if you need any help in terms of booking your next vacation to Disney World. Disneyland is getting ready to open. So exciting times. I think it's always really, really important to have a trusted, knowledgeable, experienced agent in your corner working for and with you through all of these, again, very new, very unique and trying times. But speaking of Disney Springs, speaking of lunch meetings, I was ecstatic I was supposed to go in, and so I'll tell you a quick story about this week's show. I was supposed to go in to interview Chef Art Smith from Homecoming for the show. I went in last week, sat down with Chef the day that Homecoming opened again. Loved watching the process of Chef talking to his staff, getting emotional as he talked to his staff, as he welcomed and greeted guests back into the restaurant. And he and I just sat down and started talking, and next thing we knew, 90 minutes later, Chef had somewhere else he needed to be, and we hadn't even hit the record button again. So we got together again on Friday, whatever it was, and what I thought was going to be an interview ended up being Chef, like the place, like the namesake is Homecoming. I felt like Chef invited me in his home, invited me to a table, and said, "Yeah, let's sit down and have lunch." So we have it's a dining review mini / interview, and really, I almost don't want to call it an interview, because it really was. I felt like it was a conversation with an old friend who just happens to be an amazing chef. Shared some stories he said he had never shared before about working with Oprah, talking to Bob Iger, how Homecoming came to be, and some of the really cool things Chef is doing there, not just on the menu and some of the stuff that is coming to the menu, but really the mission and the message and the philosophy behind it as well. And oh, by the way, if you haven't tried the chicken, what are you waiting for? Spoiler alert, our meal included no chicken. There was Cuban sandwich, which may be what I get when I go there next. there was pulled pork, there was a hamburger, there was salad. There was a lot of good stuff. And of course, there was cake. But Chef is the nicest guy. He's there all the time. Super, super warm and wonderful. And it really was just a real personal thrill to be able to sit and chat with him. I had actually been there with friends the week earlier. And this is just a small portion of what we had while we were there. And I got to tell you, the new outdoor shine area is just such a lovely place to go and sit outside. I imagine as time goes on, sitting outside at night, live music, those relatively cool evenings that we get in Florida. They're few and far between, but it's a really, really nice covered area with fans and whatnot. So, and the staff is exceptional at Homecoming. So, thanks again to Chef Art Smith. Who knows? You may see or hear him again on the show. You never know when. So really, really good guy. Really nice guy. Very, very welcoming. Very, very friendly guy. I love the fact that he's not just, I say it all the time, he's not a name on a marquee. So that being said, I did go to the Boathouse today for lunch. So again, I think there's that I want to call it it's a quadrifecta. Well, no, it's a fivefecta, a quinta, whatever, between Boathouse, Wine Bar George, Morimoto Asia, Raglan Road, and Homecoming. That's like this pocket of awesomeness in Walt Disney World. Like, that's the epicenter of culinary awesome. I just made this up. It's the epicenter of culinary awesomeness in Walt Disney World. And those five, man, those are five of my favorite places to eat anywhere on Walt Disney World property. So if you've never been before, hit me up and I will go with you and we will hit any or all of them if you like. God, lunch at the Boathouse was so good today. So good today. And the views are wonderful and the staff is the Edison, Dylan Ironheart says, what about the Edison? I believe the Edison is not open yet. I did see that Pizza Ponte was open today at Maria and Enzo's. I do not believe that the Edison and Enzo's Hideaway are open as yet. So Lou went to lunch at Boathouse today. This is my first time for lunch this week, Chris. So it is a Carlos Eduardo Silva from PontoOrlando.com. His Homecoming was great with great company. Listen, food is wonderful, but it doesn't taste as good unless you are with people that that you love and that you care about. And it still tastes as good, but the company, having nice company is always a plus as well. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to get back yet, get back to Springs as soon as you can. I do not know, Eddie, if Golden Corral, I don't think I've actually ever been to a Golden Corral. Tim Foster would be the one that you would need to talk to. I see mentions of episode 600 in here. Time to Plant episode 600. Kenny and Thayer, I have no idea what episode 600 is going to look and or sound like. But considering it's now 8 weeks away, I really need to start thinking about it. Laura Thompson says, nice quarantine beard. Laura, this actually isn't a quarantine beard. This is a this week beard. This is like 3 days of not shaving for me. If this was quarantine beard, I'd look like ZZ Top. It would be serious beardage. So Jeb says, hey, is it worth going to Disney World this year, or should I wait for the full experience in 2021 with fireworks, parades, etc.? Jeb, that's a question I've been getting a lot lately, and my answer, fortunately or unfortunately, is the same. Is that something that you need to determine? And that's not trying to be dismissive of the question. Means I can't answer that for you, right? Because if I lived still in New Jersey and my family wanted to go to Disney World, I would have to seriously think like, hey, do we go now where some of those things that we want and look for will not be there, or do we wait, save our money, and go back maybe early next year? What I would probably do is I would go alone for a research trip, tell my family I'm just going to check things out and then take them next year. But I'm a unique situation. That's an easy way for me to get out of it. You have to sort of weigh that yourself. And there's a lot of factors right now to take into consideration, especially where you are coming from, what your expectations might be. And I think July 11th is going to determine a lot in terms of what the in-park experiences are going to be like. Look, again, I have friends who are staying at Disney resorts who are not going to parks, who are just enjoying being on property again. And they said there's that instant familiar feeling of being home, that Disney experience without having to ride a single attraction. So they don't even care that the parks aren't open again. Many of those people are local, so you have to sort of take that from whence it comes. But only you, I think, only you can make that determine for yourself. Sean Embry, I can assure you it will not be 60 hours for 600 episodes. It's a salute to all podcasts, but mostly WDW Radio, including podcasts like The Zach Brown Show. See what I did there? Check out Zach's new show over at, I don't know what your website is, but just go search in Apple Podcasts or Overcast or Stitcher for The Zach Brown Show and tell Zach Lou sent you. I mean, you can't tell him that, but theoretically you can. I'm seeing a lot of 60 hours. Terry Simpson Doherty, I might have meant to say a 6-hour show as opposed to 60 hours. That might be something that is potentially more doable. 60, first of all, nobody's going to want to see this for 60 hours straight. Trust me. We've done it for 24. We've done it for 40. 60, nobody wants to see. And second of all, it would literally and figuratively kill me. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll figure out what we can. We'll figure out what we can do for the 600th. I almost did it again. See what we can do for the 600th show. Skyliner, I do not believe is open yet. It was nice to see buses running again today, but I do not believe the Skyliner is running. I have actually never had dinner with Becky Menken at California Grill. I've never had, and you know what else I haven't done too? I've never done the brunch at California Grill. If only somebody would want to have brunch with me at California Grill. I can't find anybody. I'm talking to you. Come on down. Let's have brunch. I'm not sure if they'll have brunch back. Yeah. So Jeb, there was a 40-hour show. Anybody remember? I don't remember what year that was. 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. Amanda Bonner from Disney Travel for All. I agree with you. You talk about going solo, but it's even better when you go. Becky, we've done dinner at California Grill. It's been so long. I don't remember. Kenneth Johnson from IHaveNoWebsite.com says, "Oh my God, Kenneth, I'm talking to you." Jim Rowski says, "Jim, you don't owe me anything other than the amazing friendship that you have given to me." The quarantine is, Becky, I am the first one to admit that the quarantine is messing with my brain. My brain was messed up to begin with, but absolutely. Wasn't there a big meal at California Grill? Maybe there was. Was there? I literally don't remember. Like now, I figured it would have kicked in by now. I don't remember having dinner. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Somebody get me a snack. I clearly need a Popeye's chicken sandwich. Now I'm talking to you. Please, bring me a Popeye's chicken sandwich. Episode 600 of Lou and Becky sing a duet. Never, ever going to happen again. Top 10 things you don't ever want to see or hear. Lou singing, period. Speaking, by the way, nice transition, Mangello. Speaking of top 10s, no, I don't have a top 10 for you this week. Instead, I've got, where is it? There it is. I have a top 5 live for you. It's like a mini top 10. It's like a half of a top 10 with only one person. This is what I think is a fun way to share what are some of the best of the best of the best from Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars. And again, when I think about my list each week, normally my mind goes directly to something food related. I basically just gave you a top 5 restaurants in Disney Springs without even thinking about it. In no particular order other than Boathouse first, Boathouse, Homecoming, Wine Bar George, Morimoto Asia, Raglan Road. Jock Lindsay's isn't open yet, but I'm going to throw Jock Lindsay's in You could make a day just by don't forget Polite Pig too. Earl a sandwich for lunch. Again, there's a lot of different places. Maybe I do need to do that after all. So, but yeah. So this week's top five is not food related. Instead, I've been thinking a lot about Walt Disney World and the parks reopening. And some of the things, wait a minute, don't give it away, Mangello. Some of the things that I am looking forward to, I'm a one-man show over here, so please be patient. Some of the things that I'm looking forward to when we go back and things start opening up as normal. And we don't know how a lot of things are going to look and feel, from what attractions are going to be open, what the queues are going to be like, what any sort of potential virtual queuing system might be. And then I got to thinking about some of the shows in Walt Disney World. Well, for a lot of people, the shows are their favorite attractions, and we don't know, with physical distancing, what shows might be open, how they might be modified in terms of capacity and seating. But putting all that to the side, I started to get excited again. I was sort of playing in my mind's eye and mind's ear, I guess, some of the soundtracks. And I got to thinking about my top 5 live stage shows in Walt Disney World. Now, to be clear, when I say live stage shows, this does not include parades. It does not include live performances, say, for example, on the promenade. This is not Streetmosphere. It's not Jammers. This is not Epcot performers. So taiko drummers, I know you're coming back. Carol Stein, the piano lady. This is not, I'm not talking about those live performers. I'm talking about things that are in theaters on stage. So these are my top 5 still in existence live stage shows in Walt Disney World. I want to hear what you have to think as I go through my list as well. Number 5 on my list is an oldie but a goodie, and Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. I think, look, it opened in August of 1989. I'm not going to do the math, but it's like 31 or so years ago. I've always loved the show, not just because I love the film, period, plural, but I love to see how it's done. And that sort of goes back to the origins of Disney's Hollywood studios, right? We get to see stunt performers, real stunt performers, reenacting some of the best scenes from the franchise, like the Peruvian Temple, the Cairo scene. I love the Luftwaffe flying the Ark to Berlin. And then those breaks in between give the cast a chance to explain to us exactly how it's done. And from the pyrotechnics to the stunt falls to the audience interaction. And yes, I can say still to this day, I've tried, never been called up on stage. I just want to be an extra just once before the show goes away. Not that I'm saying it's going to go away, but Indiana Jones, number 5 on my list, Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Tell me what you think. Does it belong on the list? Is it a must-do? Is it a one and done? When's the last time that you've seen it? And while you're thinking about that, we're going to go from what's old to something that's relatively new. And of course, for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration needs to be on the list. And I say it's relatively new. It started in 2014 in the Premier Theater, replacing the American Idol experience. One of my very first media events ever, by the way. This show has obviously not only capitalized on the popularity of the films, plural, but the show itself was so popular that it was replicated at Disney California Adventure, in Paris, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. And what I love about this one is it's a combination of storytelling with the very, very funny and often improvisational royal historians of Arendelle, with Frozen, with Anna and Elsa and Kristoff coming by to sing along, and then that grand finale of Let It Go as the snow falls from above. I will tell you that it, for me, was a surprise the first time I saw it, like how much I really, really enjoyed it. And then when I would watch it again, as I want to do, I will watch not just the show, but I will try and watch people in the theater to see not just how kids are reacting and responding and singing, but more importantly, how parents or people without kids or solo travelers or old, seeing how much they get interested in and involved in and just sort of let all their inhibitions go and sing along with the show. It's obviously not just its namesake and intention, but it really is what it gets people to do. So Frozen, number 4 on my list. What do you think? Does it belong? Number 3 is Fantasmic. And Fantasmic, as I was pulling my list together, was really sort of just bouncing all over the place. It was lower, it was higher. Again, an oldie but goodie going back to 1998 at the Hollywood Hills Amphitheater. So unlike Disneyland, where it's on the Rivers of America and started about 6 years earlier, this is a much larger venue, slightly different show. There's 7,000 seats here. There's 3,000 standing seats. So usually you can get capacities of 9,500 plus in there. And part of the reason why this is on the list is because I love the story, right? About going into the idea of Mickey's imagination, the pyrotechnics, the laser, the water screens, the floating barges, dozens and dozens of classic Disney characters, fantastic musical score, right? So you've got, 40 plus actors and characters, and it really runs a wide spectrum of movies from Lion King, Jungle Book, Dumbo, Snow White, Alice, Hercules, Pinocchio, Aladdin, Mulan, Cinderella, Lady and the Tramp, Fantasia, Tango, Princess and the Frog, Bambi, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Frozen, and of course the epic Pocahontas battle scene. I love the villain section. I love the music, not just during the show, but I encourage you to get there early, not just because, there used to be... They used to do some interactive stuff. Rosie used to come out and do stuff with guests. But the pre-show Fantasmic music, if you can find it, get it. It's really, really good. If you sit in the front rows, obviously you're going to get wet. A lot of people complain that the show has not been updated in however many years. I'm not sure that it needs to. Maybe you can swap out the Pocahontas scene. The dragon still works. The snake still works. You can do the dining package, which MEI Mouse Fan Travel can help you book, by the way. You can. There's some slight tweaks you could make to the show, but I think the show still holds its own. And I think it very much is deserving. I have to put these on so I can see. I think the show is very much deserving to be on the list. Certainly at the number 3 spot. So let me know what you think about. So we got Fantasmic, we've got a Frozen sing-along, and Indiana Jones. This is where it gets interesting, and this is where the fists of fury are potentially going to happen, because the following two, I once again had a tough time trying to determine which one should go where. So don't get mad at me if you don't like me. These are easily interchangeable too. But coming in at number 2 is Festival of the Lion King. I hear some of you screaming. I hear some of you cheering. This one was really, really tough. Festival of the Lion King was originally number 1. I was bouncing it 1 and 2. Again, this show, going back to 1998, is a half-hour show that feels like it is an hour-long production. I love the Harambe theater in the round. We have this with the stage in the center. Remember years ago when it used to be an open-air theater? Not so awesome in the summertime, so much better now, but it really allows the experience to become truly immersive. You feel like the performers are so close to and engaging with the audience. There's something happening all around, not just in front of you, but around you and above you with the acrobatics and the stunts and the fire and the characters. The audience is encouraged to participate. I still want to be a tumble monkey. Not that I have any of the athletic prowess and or talent to do so, but it's a beautiful show. Love the music, love the story, love the on sort of a macro and a micro level, right? I just sort of from the larger scale props and puppets to there's a level of intimacy in this theater which is why it was almost number one for me. This one really, really came close to being number one, but I think seeing what is on the list, seeing what is not on the list, number one is Finding Nemo the musical. Now, again, don't get mad at me if you don't dig this, because I think, and I want to take a second, right? I think that Finding Nemo the musical, we talk about shows in the parks, Disney Cruise Line, being Broadway caliber. This show absolutely rises to that level, meaning you could pluck it from here and put it in a paid theater somewhere, and it would still kill for a number of different reasons, right? First of all, before we even get to what's going on the stage, let's talk about what's going on in terms of music. I think it is the best soundtrack, new soundtrack, really, for almost any of these shows. And so I'll come back to the music in a second. From a storyline perspective, how they are able to take the original storyline of the film and craft it in such a new way of explaining it, how these puppets are able to capture the personality of the characters, not just in the puppets themselves, but in the facial expressions of the performers. It's a remarkably talented cast of actors, puppeteers, dancers. The sets are beautiful and animated. Some of the puppets need multiple puppeteers. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you. And obviously, the original music. This is the thing that surprised me the very first time I saw it. And I tell the story all the time of how I came out of the theater, and the first thing that I did is something that I normally never do, which is I went and I bought the CD of the soundtrack. Now you know how long ago it was, because I bought it on a CD. This does hit some personal, emotional heartstrings for me. My son, growing up, this is what we played for him in his room and on his little blue CD player every single night. My son fell asleep to the Finding Nemo the musical soundtrack. The CD still hangs in his bedroom, and yes, he's going to turn 15 in a couple of weeks. It doesn't matter. So there is a bit of a sentimental, personal, emotional part for me, but the music was composed by Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez, the Tony Award winners, Frozen, Coco. I know you've heard of them. And there are 14 different original musical numbers, which is why I say this feels most like a Broadway production, because there are multiple acts, again, that sort of follow the Finding Nemo story, but each one of the productions, each one of the performances of the songs is its own sort of mini production. Go with the Flow, Just Keep Swimming, and The Big Blue World, Fish Are Friends Not Food. Between the score and the soundtrack, and Michael Curry, who did the puppets, he also did Lion King, Tapestry of Nations, and Peter Brocious is the Tony Award-winning designer too, who did a lot of the puppets and sets. I think it's just the perfect marriage of story, of setting, of production value, of original music. It's a solid number one for me. It is a solid number one for me. Now, I did, as an honorable mention, add Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Again, this is one that is, Broadway quality, great sets, beautiful costumes, has been there since before the show, since before the movie debuted. Now, I see a lot of you on here, by the way. I see a lot of you yelling at me almost to a certain degree. How, Mangello, in the name of sweet baby Jesus, do you not have the Hoop-Dee-Doo on the list? Hoop-Dee-Doo is... I had it on the list, and I had it on the list, as number one. And then I was like, well, does Hoop-Dee-Doo sort of fit in with... I had it on and I had it off the list, and I sort of left it off the list because it's more than its own honorable mention. It's more than just a regular... It's its the Hoop-de-Doo is like an institution, and it almost wouldn't have been fair because it would have easily jumped to number one. Before the parks closed a few months ago, I had a chance to go do Hoop-de-Doo with friends, with my family, and I've probably seen the show 15 times over the years since I was going as a kid. I still, like, I knew what was coming, but the delivery was different. The jokes were similar, but the laughs were so much the same. The food is great. I love the environment. I love the idea of having to work to get there, meaning to take the bus to going to Pioneer Hall. But I sort of did intentionally leave it off this list because I do think it's something different because of where it is, because of what it is, because it's more of a dinner show than it is a stage show. But that being said, so this is my list. This is my list of my top 5 live stage shows in Walt Disney World. Becky says, because flying buckets of chickens are more dangerous than Nemo. Laura Thompson, Hoop is an experience. So Indiana Jones, Epic Stunt Spectacular, the Frozen Sing-Along Celebration, Fantasmic, Festival of the Lion King, and Finding Nemo, the musical. Beauty and the Beast is an honorable mention. And again, this is no disrespect for Hoop-de-Doo because I love Hoop-de-Doo. I know a lot of the performers personally. Hoop-de-Doo is not on the list because Hoop-de-Doo is its own special category. It's something that a little bit that I think is a little bit different that almost doesn't qualify because of what and where it is. So it is not to take anything away. It gets its own special place. So Indiana, Frozen, Fantasmic, Lion King, and Nemo. Let me know what you think. I will post this list in the group over on Facebook, in the Box People group. Let me know what you think should be on, should be off, how out of order you think my list is, and why I'm a bad person for not putting Hoop-de-Doo on, but understand the reasoning behind it. Robert Burton says, sing Go with the Flow. Robert, again, in the list of things that you think that you want me to do, that should really be on the high. Trust me, that is not something that you really ever want to see or hear. So, is there a podcast episode on top 10 past stage show? Michael, I think there is. I think that we did a top 10, or either Jim Corcus and I did a show on it, or Tim and I did a top 10 stage shows in Walt Disney World. I know we've talked about them because I remember talking about some of the unique ones that have come and gone along the way. Dick Tracy's Double Diamond Double Cross Theater Spectacular. I'm talking to you. Turtles, Goosebumps. There was a lot of different. Where can I find the 40-hour show to listen to? So, Jeb, it wasn't a podcast. It was a video. I believe we did it on Facebook. So it should still be somewhere on the WDW Radio page on Facebook. So, Derek says, show 600, top 10 reasons why you think we hate your top 10. Derek, I hope you don't take them. I hope you don't hate them. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope they make for fun conversation. Terry says, yes, because we did include the Barbie stage show and that awesome pink Cadillac, not of which the song was written for, but there was a pink Cadillac that actually drove through World Showcase and stopped at the American Adventure Pavilion. It was very bizarre, very weird, very like 90s. Becky says it was a long 40-hour show. I don't even remember most of it too. So one of my favorite things was pulling my son out of the audience and to dance around the stage. Yeah, I thought about things like Playhouse Disney live on stage, but I don't think it makes this list for a few different reasons. As somebody who took their kids there a lot and cried watching my kids get up and dance. I miss you kids being that young, getting up and dancing, by the way. Just not that anybody's listening, but I just needed to get that out loud. So, Michelle, sorry I missed you in Disney Springs as well. So, Chris, yeah, Dick Tracy's Diamond Double Cross stage show was on that show there. So, Hannah, thank you very much. 545 is the extinct stage shows of Walt Disney World. So Christine, again, I didn't include Voices of Liberty, Taiko Drummers, Carol Stein, um, a lot of the live acts like that, because I really was thinking about things that are stage performances and productions. That's why I tried to sort of be clear. That's why I didn't put any sort of walk around shows, Epcot performers, Streetmosphere, parades. I think they're all slightly different. I will do my top 5 live performers. That's not going to be the title, but you know what I mean. And Carol Stein, Piano Lady, if you're here, you know you're going to make that list. So Hunchback. So Hunchback is one that we talk about on the Extinct stage shows. We also talk about Tarzan Rocks. Again, that's 5:45. Wasn't that long ago as well. And there's going to be some that you probably may have never heard of before. There were some unique shows that have come and gone in Walt Disney World. So, Jeb, I didn't count Muppet Vision as a stage show because I just don't think it qualifies for a number of different reasons. And again, I could have changed the title to be more specific. Stage shows in the parks that include music, at live performers, etc., etc. But Muppet Vision, because of what it is and how it's performed, other than having the single live performer, didn't qualify as a live stage show for me. So, Terry, I'm sure you did, and hang on to those. So, Julie Rivera, yes, this is a Buc-ee's. I've never actually been to a Buc-ee's, but a friend sent me one of these. I love and collect Tervices, whatever. And I hear Buc-ee's is the place to go if I ever start making my way out to the Midwest. Again, Dave, I didn't. These are live stage shows, so they have to have live performers in them, which is why Carousel Progress did not make the list. Jody Rice, we did talk about Bear in the Big Blue House on the Extinct Stage show, and I will tell you, I got all choked up. I might have almost started to mouth the words of the goodbye song, but if I start crying, it's podcast gold, but you don't want to hear it. Julie also says she misses Tarzan Rocks. A lot of people seem to miss Tarzan in the loincloth. I think that was a big selling point for a lot of people. So, yeah, so there were the Rollerblade Monkeys, Curtis, in the Tarzan Rocks theater, the theater in the wild. So, Stephen Schmidt's Little Mermaid on Stage was in consideration for the list. It didn't make it for a few reasons for me. The Ursula almost put it on the list, but I think these other 5 are just so strong that they did not get bumped from the list. They did not get bumped from the list with Little Mermaid. And I'd have a really, really tough time taking any of these off to replace with Little Mermaid. Which, by the way, I'm not so sure that Little Mermaid is going to be there all that long. I know nothing, but I'm a betting man, and I don't think Little Mermaid's going to be there that long. I think that little section, that little corner of Disney's Hollywood Studios is going to go through a bit of a transformation at some point. So, Carrier's Ray says, I can't wait to see Festival of the Lion King again. Tugs at my little heartstrings every single time I see it. Carrier, I think that when we go back and we start to see these shows again, I'm not going to be the only dude crying in the seats. I think this is going to... I think the live shows and the live performances are going to be some of the things that hit people on an emotional level in terms of what they've missed, maybe what they took for granted and not going to see maybe as often as they would have liked to have. So Jeremy Goff says, I heard because of quarantine, The Little Mermaid is not so little. Listen, Jeremy, we're all putting on our own COVID-19. I've got about a COVID-35 going on, which is why I continue to keep the camera only waist high. So Matthew Woolley says, my son loves the Acro Monkeys and Festival of the Lion King. Matthew, I know somebody who used to be friends with a tumble monkey in The Lion King. And I think that is just one of the coolest gigs you could get. Again, non-athlete, but the acrobatics and the joy I think that you can bring to kids and adults alike would be a lot of fun. Becky says, I have a few issues with my list. Becky, what are your issues with my list? Sit back. This would be interesting. Becky has issues with my list because she's never seen any of those shows because they don't have a bar inside any of the theaters. So that's probably why Becky has no idea what any of these shows are that I'm talking about even really are. How could you have an issue? You know, Zach Brown says, it's like Colt 35, but different. So Stephanie says, I came across my annual pass card, started crying yesterday. Listen, I think that first day in Magic Kingdom is going to be a very, very interesting day. So, Jeremy Goff asks about Magical Map. The other thing I was thinking about too are castle stage shows as well. So the Castle Forecourt stage, and I did have those in consideration. Again, I don't think, for a variety of reasons, any of them rose to the level of knocking any of these off the list. But that's the fun of a top 5, right? Is that you can't list every one of them, and it really makes you think about what you want to put on your list and why. Because look, let's be honest, my top 10 lists never really top 10. We have a lot of freedom and flexibility in terms of what makes that list and how many honorable mentions there are. It really allows me to just sort of mention everything, but I really try and keep my 5 to a 5, maybe throwing in an honorable mention here and there. So Eddie can't move on from Hoopty. Listen, Eddie, again, Hoopty's not on the list out of a place of respect, not out of non-deserving to be on the list. So Iggy Torres, my friend, got his reopening day at Magic Kingdom at Epcot. Good for you, brother. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to get it for when it opens up for annual pass holders on Friday. So Friday morning is going to be an interesting day, to say the least. So we shall see what that's going to be like. So we're all going to be doing the same thing, right? Multiple screens, multiple iPhones and iPads going on at the same time, and we'll see what the trick is in order to get it. Again, I don't even care what I can ride. I just want to get inside Magic Kingdom. So hoping to get it. So Gabby Naldo agrees. That's my dad. Gabby Naldo, if I start singing any of those songs, I'll be a blubbering idiot because, again, it just reminds me of my son being so very young. So yeah, I'm going to post this in the group. I certainly want to hear from you as to what you think belongs on or off the list, and or why you guys think I am an absolute crazy person. So we'll take a couple more questions. We'll go for a few more minutes before I let you guys go for the night. A couple of things I want to just quickly remind you about before. Don't forget to, let me get my giant head out of the way. Don't forget to, every Sunday, I have 10 new items up for auction on eBay. You can see that the shelves behind me are a little bit, slightly more bare than they have been in the past. I've taken stuff off the shelves, out of the prize closet, and out of storage in the garage. 10 new auctions each week. Disney, Star Wars, there's some Star Trek nerdy stuff. Every auction starts at $1. There is no reserve on anything, so get in there, happy bidding, and please feel free to share away. WDWRadio.com/eBay. So Chris Shipper says, I'm pretty much in agreement with lose less. Well, Andrew Mylan says, I think you're talking about me, that I'm a crazy person. Again, I've been called worse, so... am I more emotional during the last few months? Kelly Lawrence, I think between quarantine and menopause all hitting at the same time, yes, I pretty much am. So, do I have any Walt Disney World themed decks of cards? That's an interesting question. Maybe I'd have to go. There's still boxes I haven't even gone through as yet. So there's still weeks worth, like multiple weeks worth of stuff, coming on. So Sharon, yes, I've got Star Trek. I'd want to visit. I want to visit Lou's garage, not in a stalkery kind of way either. Either way is fine. It's not as exciting as you might think it would be. Amber Bramble, always good to see you as well. It's safe to assume meets of the month are at Disney Springs until they lift the reservation system. Steven, I'm getting this question a lot. I'm trying to be as respectful and considerate and adhering to the rules as I can, which is why I have not scheduled a meet of the month, because I can't do it. Physical distancing, having people together. I don't want to be the person that people look to and is like, well, look what Lou's doing. He is part of the problem. I'm trying to be part of the solution, not the problem. Look, it's bad enough if I can post an innocuous picture of me in Disney Springs, like holding a piece of merchandise, and the Twitterverse will yell at me that, they're being Twitter. So I am not planning any in-person meets of the month. I'm going to do another virtual one probably in the next couple of weeks. Like for all of us, life on the opposite side of the camera has been a little bit crazy as of late, just with personal stuff going on, but I will get that scheduled as well as a WDW. If you're in the nation, I'm going to send you an email tonight about our next WDW Radio Nation group call as well. So I hope you guys understand about the meets of the month. When I said at the beginning that I miss you, I absolutely miss you so very much, and I cannot wait to see you again. When we're allowed to do it again, I'm going to be the first guy to be, doling out and hopefully be the recipients of handshakes and a hug. Paulette, hope to see you and Sam. I know you guys are coming down. Hope to see you and Sam when you guys come down here very, very soon. So you can't not wear a mask. You can't not Jeremy Goff. I know exactly what you are talking about. So yeah, Nation Group Call is coming very, very soon. And if you want to find out how you can be part of the Nation for as little as $1 a month, that's all it takes. Don't forget too, it does go to our Dream Team project to benefit Make-A-Wish Foundation of America, but it really is a great way to, like I said, to help the show and keep the lights on. Again, I want to thank some of the new members of the Nation family, including Andrew. I know a couple of you guys. I saw Andrew, I think, in here tonight. So again, just go to WDW Radio. Nation.com. Couple of things to not forget about, please. If you are not watching in the Box People group, please be part of the community and conversation. And if you are, thank you. Please do me a favor. When we're done tonight, tag and invite a friend or send them a message. Encourage them to come be part of the community. I see a lot, especially on Facebook, some communities that certainly will remain nameless where I just see people not being nice to each other, and it's why I started my discussion forums in 2003. It's why I started the group when we moved over to Facebook. I don't run ads to it. I don't try and lure people to come in with freebies and giveaways. I want people to be here for the right reasons. Again, I built the clubhouse. You are the ones who populate it. You are the ones who make it such a special place. And that's why, again, sort of using that idea of a ripple effect. I think if you invite your friends and people that you think would like to be part of here, the community will not only grow, but remain as close and as strong as it really is. I love seeing the friendships and the relationships that are formed as a result of it. So, thank you for doing that. So again, if that's one of the ways that you can help, right? I get questions all the time. What can I do to help? Sharing, whether it's this week's podcast, your favorite episode, commenting on Facebook and inviting your friends, tagging them in the comments, inviting them to come over and not just, listen and subscribe, but be part of the community, being part of the Nation. And look, I want to be able to help you too. If there's some way that I can help you, please go and visit LouMongello.com. Lots of different ways I could do it from a distance, giving you virtual handshakes and or hugs. I see Jason Knapp is here from Here with the Magic. Speaking of, again, look, I am blessed that, you and I are friends. Jason, I'm not talking to you. I mean, just you, the watching in general. But Jason, again, is one of these people that I have been fortunate to meet. He does herewiththemagic.com. He also does Facebook Lives, does lunch breaks during the week. But really, especially now during this time where we can't get there, it's a great way to bring not, point of view, ride through videos, but some of those more relaxing places and experiences to you throughout. I know Amanda was here before. She's from Disney Travel for All. Please go and check Amanda's site out, especially if you are a solo traveler and adult traveler. She's got great content, wonderful podcast, which you should go and check out as well. And another great way to bring some of the magic home is not just what you see and what you read and what you hear, but what you smell. Our olfactory senses are our most powerfully associated with memory. So go check out Lisa Noda Glassner's Core Memory Candles.com. And as long as I'm just continuing to spread the love around, I of course would be remiss had I not go back and talk about Becky and Mouse Fan Travel. They have been incredible during this time. I've heard from so many people how helpful they have been in helping to resolve, so many of the questions and difficulties. And look, I've been friends with Becky and have recommended Becky for, what is it now, Becky, 13 years, because I trust you and because I believe in you, and that's why I trust you to take care of everyone here who are my friends. So please go and check out Becky Mankin and Mouse Fan Travel. Again, if you want to get a little bit more of the magic delivered to you right at home, my audio tours, my 102 Ways to Save book, still on sale for just $10. It's like a Starbucks coffee or 2 dozen donuts at Dunkin' Donuts, but for $10 you can get each of the audio tours. I also have a bundle package. You can get all of them for a discount, and then you can also download the 102 Ways to Save Money book or get it in print format if you're OG, and feel free to spread the word and send people over to the WDW Radio store. Don't forget to, if you like the show, and I hope that you do, not only listen, but subscribe, and again, and share it out. And if you can, rate and review the show over in iTunes. That is super, super, super helpful. And again, the more people we can get to be part of our community and our friends and our family, the better. So I'm going to let you guys go. And Eddie Kern, thank you so much, man. I'm going to let you guys go. Get back to your friends, to your family, to your dinner, to your snacks, to your Netflix and or Disney Plus binge watching. And by the way, if you missed it, last week, we talked about what to watch on Disney Plus to enhance your enjoyment and appreciation of the parks. I did it with Connor Brown from WDWopinion.com. You can go to WDWopinion.com, check his site and podcast out. But we had a lot of fun talking about some of the different shows that not only talk about the parks, but relate the parks back to some of the things that you can find on Disney Plus, park by park as well. So listen, I love and appreciate you so very much. You have impacted and changed my life in ways that you have no idea. And I mean that to you individually, as well as, community wise. And you've changed how I look at things, right? It's because of you that I realized that how important it is to choose the good. And again, I know things are crazy. Like the world is just, I'll go back to 100. It's topsy-turvy. It's upside down. It's nuts. Like you couldn't script this, but there is good to be found, and there is opportunity to be had if you know what to look. And positivity is contagious. And the way we look at things, the way we treat other people is equally as contagious. So choose the good, like do good and be good for others with no expectation of anything in return. And if there's ever anything that I can do to help you, please let me know. Don't forget to tune in next week. Spread the word. Good luck on Friday, annual pass holders, and good luck to everybody else who's a ticket holder on Sunday. Thank you again, Becky and Mouse Fan Travel, for all that you do to help me and to help WDW Radio, and more importantly, to help my friends. So until next time, I love you guys. Have a great night. Thank you.